Hi there. In this screencast, we'll look at receiving payments from our customers, also known as receipts. So in order to see how much we're owed, under the reports section, we can choose customer age summary. Again, the difference between summary and detail. Detail shows all of the transactions that went towards the balances. Summary will just be the balances. This will be as of the session date, which is March 31st in my situation. So you'll notice that we need to get some money from Terry Fox fairly soon. We're worried about them not paying. Deborah Mackey, some of her debts are old. So you can see which ones you want to focus on collecting. We'll look at the actual process of collecting these debts in level 2 with statements. So it turns out that Richmond Symphony is paying us $12,000. So I can simply twirl Richmond Symphony and receive payments. That opens up the receipts journal. Inversely, you could click on receipts and choose Richmond Symphony, however you like to do it. This is on. This is going into 1020, so we'll deposit that later. We'll see that in level 2, and this is their check number, so it's not automatically generated. Receipt number is automatically generated. Don't bother changing those to match any notes or the book, anything like that. It doesn't matter. And this is on March 21st. And they're paying us $12,000 on that amount. So notice when you click on the amount received column, it populates it with the full amount that's expected. If you clicked on discount first, if there was a discount available, it would subtract that from it. But we can always override this, so they're not paying us the full amount. They're only paying $12,000. And it says, if you look at the under the hood bookkeeping, it's debit to the bank account, credit to accounts receivable, as you'd expect. And we'll go ahead and post. And okay, and there's a couple more in the notes. Go ahead and add those for your own experience. Now, we can also adjust those payments. So in this situation, we recorded a $12,000 payment from Richmond Symphony, but it turns out that we entered that incorrectly. So we're not getting a new check. We entered the original payment incorrectly, so we're just going to modify it. We don't need to ask for a new check or anything like that. So in order to find that entry, you can just twirl receipts, and you can go straight to adjust. So that, again, that basically the difference between those two is you, in this situation, you would find the receipt and then click on the little pencil, the little backwards pencil to adjust it. It'll already be in editing mode if you use adjust. So I'll go ahead and use that. And Richmond Symphony. And you can narrow down the dates if you like. In real life, you'd probably have way too many results to go through. If you leave it at these dates, you might want to narrow it down to the week or the day. In our situation, we don't have a lot of transactions, so it works fine for us. So if you click on adjust, oops, just know we're already in adjustment mode, so I didn't need to do that, and we're just going to enter 10,000 and post. And again, a reversing entry gets entered, and a correcting entry to add the correct amounts also gets entered. Now we also have deposits, just like prepayments on the payable side. We can receive prepayments from our customers that we can then apply against future invoices. So I go to receipts. This is a brand new customer, so I'm just going to add their name. And I'm just going to do a quick add. And this is going into 1020, again our cash box. So they're ordering an item from us that we don't generally carry. So we are asking for deposits so that we're not out of pocket too much in the event that they disappear. Again, just like on the payable side, in order to see that deposits line, again, we can only apply a payment to existing invoices from what we see here. But if we want to receive a prepayment, we again click on that little safe. And we're going to say the deposit reference number is 100. Again, you can change that up in setup settings company forms. In my notes, I say 100. If you wanted to increment from that point forward, go to setup settings company forms, and they're giving us $500, which is a deposit on a special order. And if you look at the bookkeeping, it's going to a liability. So we get the money in our cash box, and now we owe them $500. Oh, let me make that smaller so you can actually see what I'm talking about. So again, money in our cash box and $500 that we can then apply to future invoices. So we owe them $500. It's a liability. And we'll go ahead and post. Now, we're going to purchase those items. Again, it's an item we don't generally stock. We're going to purchase these items from a new supplier, so it'll be a little bit of a review of accounts payable. It's an item that doesn't exist, so we'll add the item on the fly. So that's a little bit of a review of inventory. We're going to sell that item to Targus, and then they're going to pay us minus the discount amount. So that's the scenario we're looking at. So I'll go to payables, create a purchase invoice. It's a brand new supplier called the String Zone. Let's quick add them. And STR 159. March 28th. We're paying them now with check number check. It doesn't pop in automatically unless you add that check number to set up forms and reports. And we're buying a new item, so if you click on item number and then click on your little black arrow or your magnifying glass and choose create. And this is an S1. Remember, we use S as a prefix for all of our string items. That's how we add departments kind of ad hoc. Yamaha silent practice violent. It's an inventory item. This is the selling price. 9. We'll sell them for $8.99 for preferred customers. I would say $8.99 for web customers as well. And strings 1520. Revenue for strings 4020. Cost of goods sold for strings 5020, and our variance we always use 5100 in this example, and save and close. And we're buying 3 of those, and the price that we're buying them for, we entered the selling price in the inventory item record, and when we purchase for resale, we only pay GST in BC, and freight 89 plus GST. All right, so I've got the item. I can now sell it. So I choose receivables. I twirl Targus, create invoice. This is on March 28th. And they're buying all of the items. all three. And tax terms. We're going to give them a 2% discount. Okay. If they pay within 10 days, net amount is due in 30 days. And we'll go ahead and post. So finally, the moment of truth, they come to pay their balance. And you'll notice, you may have to make the screen taller, but you'll notice we have the deposits available here. So they're paying 87. So on the 31st, they have a discount available because they're paying within 10 days of the 28th. So again, make sure you click right on the discount column first of all. That pops in the discount, and then click in amount received. That'll subtract the discount from the amount owing. It's best to do it in that order. And then click on the amount received column. I just hit tab and it popped down there, so either or. And then once I leave that field, I'll hit tab again. We don't need to see this deposit line. That's sometimes confusing. So now it's the amount received minus the deposit. And if you look at the report, you'll see that prepaid sales and deposits, the liability, is now decreased. We're paying them back. And post. And OK. So the next thing we'll look at is what happens when a customer returns something. So we had that that sale that we handled for the over-the-counter sales. So one of those items that was purchased in the over-the-counter sales, the customer is coming back and returning the item. So to take the money back out of the cash box and give it back to a customer we have no record for, because he just came in and paid cash for the item, so we didn't retain his information. So in order to create a return, you simply use a negative amount on a sales invoice. So I'll choose sales invoice, and my customer is daily counter sales. And it's cash and 1020, since we're taking cash out of the box this time. This is on March 31st, and the shipping address, we can add the customer here in case we need to, if we have questions about the item we returned. So this is Jim Barker. We'll just get his, notice when I hit enter I don't go down a line in this field, so in order to get down to the next line in these shipping address or customer fields, you have to hit tab. I'll just make a phone number for him. I have mailing information in my notes, but we don't need to retain all of that. He doesn't actually really exist. And he's returning one of those S117s. So again, when somebody returns something, you just use a -1. And there is tax on that. And you can add a description in there. And post. And OK. Now, some of the reports that are available. We already saw the customer age summary. We don't need to see that again. We have customer sales detail. So that'll only show sales, no receipts. This is from January 1st to March 31st. So it shows all of the sales, but none of the payments. So that's our gross revenue. And sales journal entry. Again, no receipts. adjust the revenue. And receipts journal entry. So that'll show all of the payments from our customers. And if you want to see all of your transactions, reports, journal entries, all, that shows you all of the transactions for all of the modules. Let me just make this, widen up those dates, date ranges. Use March, that's the month that we're using transactions for this example. I never check that. I don't need to see my corrections. And I don't need to see yours either, so I never look at that when I'm marking. So there's all of the transactions. That'll show you the receipts as well as the sales, so you don't have to go to two different places. All right, well that is recording receipts and returns and adjusting receipts as well. Thanks for watching.